50 seconds left? For 90 seconds? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was a public servant long before I was elected. I've lived in this community for over 30 years. I love this community. My 4 children were born and raised here. I was a vice president of their PTA soccer coach. I deeply care about the citizens, their well-being, our quality of life. I would love to be honored to be your voice on the city commissioner. To answer your question, I have been the commissioner for 2 years. I have not missed one meeting. I have not missed one conference. I have not missed one workshop. I have not missed one single vote. I spend hours every week going over the agenda. I do it on the weekend with community leaders, and I do it a third time at my pre-agenda meeting. By the time I walk in that city commission meeting, that's the 4th time I've gone over that. And that's important because we're legislatures. We vote on ordinances, we vote on contracts, and I have devoted a lot of time. I have not missed one beat the whole time I'm here. Oh, can I make it?
Warren, you got all the time you want afterwards out in the lobby. What we're going to do, Earl and I just made an executive decision. We're going to make it 2 minutes instead of 90 seconds, so you can. That's about what Warren just took. Kevin Cochrane, go ahead.
Great.
I would have slowed down if I did.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Cochrane. I'm so happy to be here again. I was here 2 years ago, and this was our first candidate forum. I had the honor to walk every single road here in Lauderdale Isles and knock on every one of your doors and listen to your voice. By day, I am a chief marketing officer for a software infrastructure company based here in West Palm Beach. I'm hiring here in Fort Lauderdale. I'm very active in the tech community, helping bring high-paying, quality jobs, and currently support and sponsor the Fort Lauderdale Tech Forum, which includes over 1,000 people that meet on a monthly basis to talk about how to bring high-paying, quality jobs for all of our graduates coming out of university. The important part of that is every single day what I do is I listen to customers and I gather requirements and I build a plan and I follow up and hold myself accountable to that plan in order to make sure that I can give them the best possible product experience and customer experience. When I listen to you all here today, you guys are asking for action. You want your voice heard. You want someone to document the requirements. You want someone to give you a plan. You want someone to follow up. You want someone to be accountable. The same questions that were asked here 4 years ago, we just heard, are similar to the same questions that we're going to be asked tonight. Where is the action? Where is the plan? Where is the accountability? This is what I do every day. Every day I will knock on your door. Every day I will answer the phone. Every day I will write down what you say. Every day I will document something and I will chase it and I will fix it and I will get the job done. 2 years ago I lost by 49 votes. And what an honor it was to go through that experience. And I could not have been more proud by the support of the Lauderdale Isles community. You guys all turned out for me. And I will turn out for you. I will listen to every single requirement, and I personally will not stop until the next meeting I give you the answer that you need so that your lives are better.
Thanks, Kevin. Now we're up for Ted Inserra.
Hello everybody, my name is Ted Inserra. When you talk about the jobs, I am a retired chef. I retired during COVID when all the restaurants were on lockdown. But since then, I did get a call from my good friend, Buddy Sturman, and I do work on Saturday and Sunday at the Southport Raw Bar. So, but I have all the time that is needed for this job. I was born in District 4. I was raised in District 4. I was schooled in District 4, Croissant Park Elementary, Rogers Junior High, and Stranahan High School. And it's funny, this year, the Southport Raw Bar is celebrating their 50th year open, which is phenomenal for a local-owned restaurant. And this year, we also had our 50th high school reunion from Stranahan High School. So 74 was a good year. I graduated high school, and the Southport Raw Bar opened. So that was very good. I was here also in 2022, and since then, I've stayed on the scene. I've stayed involved. I doubled down on what I'm doing for the city. I became known as an STP, one of the same 10 people that goes to every meeting. I go to the planning and zoning, the DRC. I show up, suit up, and speak up all about that. And because I realized, this city means so much to me that, it needs help. Enough is enough of what we've had. We need a little bit of change. We need to flip the script at the top of in City Hall. I am also, since then, became the unanimously voted president of the River Oaks Civic Association. A little torn tonight. We're having our actual meeting is tonight over there, so I'm having to miss it. We're having Dr. Gassman as our guest. But, we've quadrupled, actually, the attendance at our River Oaks Civic Association meeting since we've taken over. And I'm hands-on. I enjoy getting with the people. I know every neighborhood that's in District 4, because, that is my area. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. Ben Sorensen.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you all for being here. I'm Ben Sorensen. I was elected as your city commissioner in 2018. I was re-elected unopposed in 2020. I'm a small business owner. I'm a small business that does leadership training and executive coaching. Jeff, to your question about how long this job takes, I've done it. It takes at minimum 50 hours a week. It is a time-intensive job. The City of Fort Lauderdale City Commissioner is considered part-time, but I'll tell you, it is not part-time if you do it right. So as you're thinking about candidates, I think it's important to think about who has 50 hours a week to really dedicate to what you do. Being a small business owner, luckily able to have a schedule that allows for that. I'm running because I love getting things done, and we have a history of working together here in Lauderdale Isles. When we work together, we win together. As your city commissioner in 2018, after the second runway was built at the airport, you came to me and said, this is unacceptable, the overflights of our house. We came together, we worked together. As your city commissioner, I led the effort to hire the best airport noise law firm in the country. We hired the best airport noise consultant in the country. We worked with Broward County, we worked with your neighborhood leaders, we worked with the FAA. Year and a half later, the FAA came to us and said, you have done something no one else has done. You changed airport noise for the first time ever willingly as a community. We did that with vacation rentals. I was the only candidate here that went to Tallahassee to advocate on your behalf with your neighborhood leaders. We fought and we killed that bill. I'm here to continue fighting for you day in and day out. We did that with waterways as well. The Lauderdale Waterway District, when I was a commissioner, we worked together to get the boundaries adjusted and improved for your neighborhood. I'm Ben Sorensen. I want to keep fighting for you and ask for your support. Thank you.
All right, give them all up again. You'll have to deal with me a little bit on these questions. We decided to give a little background on each one instead of last time we just said, what do you think about vacation rentals? Or what do you think about, how about Riverland Road traffic? Let's talk about that one. I think that'd be a good one. When the Metropolitan Planning Organization came up with a new design for Riverland Road, they decreased the width of the travel lanes for the cars and added bike lanes on either side of the road. They told us the bike lanes would serve to calm the traffic and slow it down. And as you all know, that didn't work too well. It's Riverland Racetrack now, and I think I don't know if you can see, but that's what we labeled it up on the screen up there. Okay. So at any rate, Transportation and Mobility Department designed some new traffic calming features for Riverland Road, and although you can't see them closely, they are raised intersection and raised crosswalks. Can you go back to the last one, Earl? You can see it goes. You see all those little blue and orange dots on there you can barely see? Well, those are going to be all up and down Riverland Road. But what happened was, they planned it and they designed it. Nobody came up with any dough to pay for it. They went to the state legislature last year, and I forget how much they asked for. Maybe one of you guys remember and can tell me. The state was very kind to give us $60,000, which was, and then the governor vetoed the $60,000. So we didn't get anything. Now the city's legislative people are going to go to the federal level and they're asking for $1 million. This traffic calming, by the way, what was originally planned, they said would cost $700,000. What do you think it'll be now, Rob?
They got $1 million.
Bank on $1 million, me too. Okay. So who knows how long that will take. Now, here's something interesting that one of the people, a lady, sent to us in regard to this question. She said, District 2 Commissioner Steve Glassman, in his July newsletter, stated he secured $750,000 for 2 different road projects in District 2. Money in the city budget. Okay? We don't have that for our project. So here's the question. When you're elected commissioner, how and when will you secure the funds in the city budget for the badly needed Riverland traffic calming? And we're going to start with Kevin.
Before you close, are we still going with 30 seconds or go for a minute?
That's so fast.
A minute.
Yeah.
All right,
We'll
we'll
go with a minute, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. You're right.
Oh, starting with me. So I think this is a very good example of getting the requirements right for the neighborhood. You all just went through a process by which Riverland Road was rebuilt to add the bike lanes. Whoever thought about what was going to be needed in order to make certain that it did not become a racetrack? Fundamentally now, you have to go through the process again of finding funding and going through and rebuilding the road. You have to get things right. At the end of the day, the project was not specified correctly. In my business, when you are trying to build a new product, a new capability, you have to think about all of the requirements necessary to get the job done and get it done right. So in order to solve this situation, yes, we need to find additional funding. But what I would, and we would do that, trust me, at the end of the day, we will get the job done. But at the end of the day, we can't have projects done like this ever again. Another good example is the yacht club. Where was the money? Why couldn't $2.25 million not be found for the yacht club? Another good example of fighting to find the funding for the community to finish projects that need to get done and need to get done correctly.
Okay, Riverland Road. I'll tell you, I've ridden my bike down here 2 times within the last week, and that bike lane is just not acceptable. On the west side, heading towards 441, there is like holes in the bike lane. There's like an 8-inch drop off because the swales have sank. The edge is crumbling, and you're just trying to get closer and closer to the traffic. So that needs to definitely be reworked. Now, in River Oaks, we've been dealing with transportation and mobility quite often. What we did was we went to the LMC and we secured $70,000 from them to put in traffic calming devices on 15th Avenue and 12th Avenue because we made it clear that it was them that was causing more traffic coming into there. And the budget, boy, we need to rework this budget. It seems like we have enough money for all of these little fancy things that they do. But boy, when it comes to actual needs of the neighborhoods, I am so tired of hearing funding not available. It just needs to be reworked and rethought.
To get traffic calming measures done, you have to work collaboratively. I did it. As a commissioner, I worked with Broward County and the Metropolitan Planning Organization to get the 17th Street bypass road committed to $4.5 million, which is going to run parallel to 17th. To get traffic calming measures at Riverland Road, we have to work with the NPO, with Broward County to get dollars. This takes more than just city budget. You have to have a collaborative approach. Furthermore, on Riverland Road, there's a short-term fix we also need. New River Middle School continues to be a challenge. We need additional police resources there at departure times and pickup times. We're 26 police officers short right now. We need 2 public safety aides at departure times and arrival times to ensure smoother flow and safety of our students and our traffic running through Riverland Road, in addition to driving towards traffic calming measures for the long term. Thank you.
Okay, well, clock's not running, I hope. I get it.
Every button.
Go ahead.
Oh my God, I can talk for an hour on this. I sit on the NPO. I'm your representative for that 1% sales tax. That road is, we asked for state funding. State funding we asked for $1 million with the $200,000 city match. We did not get that money from the state. Three projects we asked for, that particular project was not approved, the other two were. We do have $1 million set aside for that, but that's 20% of the project, meaning the whole project with multiple raised intersections. I think there's a total of 4 with some pedestrian intersections. There's going to be a total of, 20% times 1.2, it's about a $6 million project. So each year we are going to go forward. $1 million is sitting there ready to start rolling forward. By the way, talking about the New River Middle, I did speak with the city manager this week. They are going to be having more police officers out there this week. The principal is working to give flyers to the parents as the school resource officers are out there. A priority of us is taking care of that project. We're already working on it this week. The plan is rolled out already. Thank you.
Thanks. The next question, a couple of you just brought it up. Was anybody on River Lake Road about 4 o'clock this afternoon? And if you did have a kid at the school, you were lined up in Marathon Lane and praying and hoping you would get there. Our next question is going to relate to the New River Middle School traffic specifically. That's been a problem for us for years. We forget about the summertime because school is out. But what happened Monday, Kapow? I want you to look very carefully at the picture that's on the right side of the screen. That was taken the first day of school this week. The cars on the left side are headed east toward the school. They were backed up to Gulfstream Lane at that point. The number 9 Broward County bus operator decided, well, I'm not going to wait in line. And what did the operator do? They drove down the wrong way in the other lane, as you can see right there. And not only that, told the people, including the person who took the picture, honking the horn, get out of the way. Okay? So it seems like the New River School traffic issue maybe is compounding even a little bit more. So here's the background to that question. I had to point out the bus because that was the greatest. At any rate, we've been told, for instance, that the motorcycle units would be out there when available. They're not available, they're there once in a while. They tried with the plastic cones to keep the parents from coming out of school and making a left turn. So the traffic cones force them to make a right turn, they go down about 50 yards and they make a U-turn in the middle of River Lake Road and jam it up, okay? And lastly, the crossing guards don't time the kids going across the street with the lights. They just let them keep coming, and the traffic gets worse and worse. Everyone, including TAM, Transportation and Mobility, the school, Fort Lauderdale Police, we had a bunch of meetings with our little committee and the neighbors. They've all agreed over and over that what we need is 2 traffic aids in the morning at 31st Avenue and Andros Lane to properly control and direct the traffic. When was the cop out there this week, Rich? What day was it? Tuesday. They had a cop there for half an hour, in the afternoon? And it was smooth as silk. Just like they do over at the high school, they have a traffic aid over there. The problem is Broward County schools will not pay for anything to do with traffic in front of the school. They'll tell you what you need, but they won't give you any money. So here's the question. When you're elected commissioner, when can we expect our tax dollars for these necessary traffic aids to be budgeted by the city to end the traffic nightmare at the school? And the next one up is Ted.
Okay, on this subject, I happen to be an authority because when I was going to Croissant Park Elementary School, I was a safety patrol officer when I was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So, and I tell you, nobody got hit, nobody got hurt, it was all fine. So I'm going to use that knowledge and bring it into what we need at this middle school. Again, I'm so tired of hearing funding not available. We need to rework this city budget. There is so much earmarks and special interest things for all these people when us in the neighborhoods, us in the residents do not get what we need. That's where it has to begin. We need more money for safety people on there. It's obvious. If we sit down with everybody and smartly rework what we're going to spend this billion-dollar budget on, I'm sure we can find funding to have people at the schools. I mean, that has to be at the top of the list. Not some parade down Los Olas or some parade there. We can cut out some fireworks for a year and get that money and put it where we need to have it in the neighborhoods and for the residents.
Yay.
My wife Anna's here, and talking about traffic. And Anna and I, when we got married, we moved to Lauderdale Isles and lived on Okeechobee Lane. I say that because you don't have to have lived in the neighborhood to understand the pains of the neighborhood, but it takes a commissioner who's going to advocate for the pains of the neighborhood to resolve them. One of the pains that I experienced when I was a commissioner of your neighborhood was code enforcement on the waterways. I worked with your neighborhood leaders, and we got the first ever code boat to help serve your neighborhood. We need another code boat. I'm going to advocate for that. It's up to the commissioner to advocate for solutions for the community. As your commissioner, just as I've done historically, from day one, I'm going to work to get public safety aides here to make sure that our neighborhood is safe and our students are going to school in a safe manner. It's up to a strong city commissioner who can work with other city commissioners and city staff to get things done. That's what I'll be doing.
Thank you for your compliment, because what we're doing it already. Adding more police in the budget, we already did that for the first time. Number two, we signed a contract. Police were without a contract for 2 years. If we signed it this year, we'll be able to hire more. Number three, we do have a plan for adding extra SROs. I spoke to the city manager yesterday. The police chief is going to start having SROs out here starting this week, probably tomorrow, the next day. They're going to be educating the SROs. We're also going to be having police aides going through there. The principal is going to have flyers sent to the parents, educating them on the traffic pattern, and they're going to be backed up by actual police officers. Talking about Marine, I'm glad you brought that up. I spoke to the chief about getting a second Marine shift. For there's only one boat from 7A to 7P for Marine policing. 7P to 7A, there is none. We're going to be putting into the budget going forward, so there will be a Marine patrol for police added to the next budget for next year. So I hope that answers. I'm getting used to talking about that like an auctioneer real quick here. There's so much I want to say, but I'll end it right there.
Yeah, I think this is a really good topic, because at the end of the day, for every single neighborhood, for every single community, we need to have an annual plan. Before we go into budgeting, we need to understand the needs of each and every community. We need to document those requirements, and we need to make certain that the critical quality of life issues that are affecting everyday residents are actually getting funded. We fund too many vanity projects. We'll spend $15 million on a Tunneltop Park, but we'll only spend $20 million for stormwater infrastructure for Edgewood, and we won't provide any funding for stormwater infrastructure here in Lauderdale Isles or Shady Banks or other regions as well. We're too willing to spend money on high-profile vanity projects so people can have nice pictures in the news. We need to have budgets that work for each and every community. Every year, we should understand what your requirements are. We should get these things funded. The cost of 2 public safety officers to make sure the traffic flows and children are safe in front of New River Middle School is peanuts. It is unacceptable that we don't get these things funded.
Thanks, I think we heard some good answers. Hopefully we'll have some aids. Hopefully. We don't want to keep you all night. We have a bunch of questions, but we're going to do 3 short. Well, this one's a 2-part question, and it's on a topic very close to our heart: vacation rentals. You can see the map up there that we created. That was the middle of May. There, in middle of May in our neighborhood, 28 legal and illegal vacation rentals operating in our neighborhood. 3 years ago, there were 7. Okay. That's a problem. And in fact, it's interesting. Kevin, you're in Harbor Inlet. You have 16 in your neighborhood. You 2 guys in Rio Vista, I don't know why, but we're going to get some Airbnbers over there because you only have 8. River Oaks, Ted, your neighborhood, you have 56, so you have twice as many as we do. But it's a problem all over the city. They mentioned the Okeechobee Lane. That was a great win, but In other parts of the city, last year, they had somebody at a Airbnb shot and killed at the front door, okay? And they have a lot of that kind of stuff going on, the fights and everything. I spoke with Katrina Jordan, manager of code today, about that to get those figures, and she was telling me some unbelievable stuff. At any rate, let's get to vacation. It's going to be a two-part question. I want to tell you what the second part is first, so you don't bleed into that. Code is writing some amendments to the vacation rental ordinance, and I'm going to ask you in the second part what you think they should add to it. But here's the first question. Very simply, what's your understanding and your opinion on how vacation rental enforcement is handled by the city now? I think, Ben, you're up, right?
Thank you. So timing wise, what is it 2 minutes for the first part?
Jeff, how do you want to run it?
No, 1 minute for each.
1 minute for each part. Vacation rentals are a massive.
Wait. Is it, you have two parts to this question? Or- Did you read both parts right now?
Yeah,
Want me to read it again? Yeah, if you could.
You want to do it?
I mentioned the second.
one minute.
The second part.
I
first.
mentioned the second part, so your first part won't bleed into it. The second part of it is they're rewriting or adding some stuff to the city code about vacation rentals. Would like to know what you think they should add to the
Oh,
code.
what was the first part, though?
What is your understanding and your opinion on how the vacation rental enforcement is handled by the city now?
And you've got 1 minute. for
1 minute
each
for
part.
each part.
So 2 minutes total. So you want to go down and then come back to the second.
2 minute total.
About 2
Let's
minutes.
go 2 total. 2 minutes total.
They can figure out 2 minutes.
Perfect. All right, let's do it. We can do far better than we're currently doing in the city of Fort Lauderdale for code enforcement. The vacation rental ordinance can be improved. It needs to be improved. Anyone that tells you it can't be improved and there's nothing we can do is not correct. I've worked and talked with the city attorney's office. We need to take multiple steps to make our vacation rental ordinance tougher. How? One, if you're operating without a license, you will be caught and fined $1,000 a day until you are certified and licensed. Number two, noise complaints will be effective not only just as produce noise like music, but if there is yelling and screaming, that it needs to be a code complaint, a code requirement for compliance, and you will be cited accordingly. Furthermore, we need to reduce 3 strikes to 2 strikes. 2 strikes, you're out. Cities do this, we need to do it in the city of Fort Lauderdale. Finally, you need a commissioner who's going to go to Tallahassee, because Tallahassee every year threatens to shut down home rule. I went to Tallahassee this year, I went last year, I went with leaders of your community, and we fought and we won. What we're doing this year, and we're already working on it, is instead of being reactive, we need to be proactive around vacation rentals. What does that mean? We are already working with key stakeholders across the state to say, let's fashion a vacation rental law that actually will work for our neighborhood, that will benefit us, that is fair and applicable, and the city can enforce and ensure that our neighborhoods are protected. Finally, let me tie in Nassau Lane. You need a commissioner who's going to go to Tallahassee and fight against the agency that's not regulating well that facility. You need a commissioner who's going to go and challenge that state organization, push to have that state statute rewritten, adjusted, to understand the unique nature of Lauderdale Isles and what it faces. Thank you.
Warren?
Ready? We did pass a state, we revised our vacation rental ordinance. We went with the city attorney, we went to the absolute max, we looked at other cities, and we took it as far as the state would let us go. We are limited by state statute what we could do. If I could, we would regulate them and shut them down as quick as we can with 1 strike if we could. But we did add teeth. We added noise monitors. Noise monitors are monitored in the police department. They're kept for 180 days. If the noise monitor goes up, there has to be a local person that lives here. They have to respond within a certain amount of time. The 3 strikes are out, the suspension, the whole bit. So number 1 is strengthening that ordinance. We passed a strengthened ordinance. In addition to that, we have a noise ordinance that's coming down the pike. I had a series of workshops, which I do once a month with getting community input. That helped me with the ordinance, with the tree canopy, with the vacation rentals, And the noise ordinance, we are going to be strengthening the noise ordinance resolution in the city. 2, added resources for compliance. We've added more compliance. We added nighttime compliance. As you heard, we have a nighttime unit that's going out there with code, and we've empowered the police to give one of those 3 strikes. And I've worked with Jeff and Earl extensively trying to beef up compliance. And number 3, the state had a bill that went through that would have gutted out our whole ability to enforce vacation rentals. My ex-wife is there. We ended up leaving Plantation because we had the vacation rental around the clock. We had to leave here. I went there. I worked with other HOA presidents. I presented to the Council of Civic Associations. We worked with our people up in Tallahassee, Chippewa, Market, Campbell, the League of Cities. We had a unified approach. We had a template, and we had everybody over there. I took that lead on that, working to get this thing overturned, and thank goodness we were able to use some of our contacts and some of our other state legislators and League of Cities, and the governor did eventually veto that. Huge victory for us, and I want to thank everybody that helped me with that endeavor.
So a few things on vacation rentals. Number 1 is we need more compliance officers to crack down on illegal vacation rentals. I actually firmly agree. $1,000 a day fine until they actually get properly permitted. That's a great start. Secondly, we need to make sure that we have escalating fines for any infractions. The example we heard tonight of $15,000 for a 50-person party, that's a good start. First infraction should be a minimum of $15,000. You've got to hit these people in the pocketbooks. If you hit them in the pocketbooks the first time, they will not do a second strike. $15,000, $20,000, we've got to make it prohibitively expensive so that first strike really strikes and really hurts. Second strike, you double it. And of course, third strike, you pull that permit and you put them out of business firmly. The other thing that we need to do is we need to make certain that the community gets involved. Each and every one of you has had complaints. I was here 2 years ago. This situation has not changed. It has not gotten better at the end of the day. Each and every one of you on your street, you should be able to do a quarterly assessment of the Airbnbs in your neighborhood. You should be able to rate them and rank them. And if they are not ranking well, if they are not being good members of your community, $50,000 fine, put them out of business, pull their permit. Each and every one of you as neighborhood leaders should be empowered to rate and rank the Airbnb in your neighborhood and let us know if they're a good neighbor. And if they're not a good neighbor by your decision, pull that permit, make it hurt, get that strike out there. So with Airbnbs, I was here 2 years ago. I'm still hearing the same complaints. Where's the accountability? Where was the plan? We have better code enforcement, right? We have the nighttime to 3 a.m. You're still having the problem. We need new ideas, we need a new approach. There shouldn't be, after 2 years, still illegal Airbnbs. How is that possible after 2 years? How is it possible you're still frustrated? Let's put the power in your hands. Every 3 months, you rank the Airbnb. And if they don't pass your muster, if you give them an app, they're gone.
Okay, like what was brought up, we have 56 in River Oaks. And let me tell you, I was just talking to Officer Jackson before she left, that was saying that we're having our River Oaks meeting tonight. And she said there was no crimes to report in River Oaks for this past month. We have in our neighborhood, and I emphasize it, see something, say something, call Ted. And we know exactly where all of these 56 are. And let me tell you, I'm too old to walk up and down and knock on everybody's door, but I do knock on the doors of these vacation rentals in our neighborhood. We know where they are. We really, and like was said before, 2 strikes, it's a great idea. We need to really get some teeth behind these, the violations. Keep racking them up on the people. You gotta hit them in the pocketbook, the owner. We gotta make things uncomfortable for them. There's a number of areas in our city that they're just not teeth behind the ordinances. We need to get some teeth again behind the homeless situation that we now have. We can get teeth behind this. This is something that we keep a close eye on it. We make sure that they're not breaking any of the rules. I knock on their doors, we know where they are, and I let them know that we know where they are. And the owners, the one time we're having, he was already waiting for me outside saying, Ted, I knew you were coming because somebody told me. And that's what we have, and that's what it takes. It takes everybody, because we have, River Oaks is very large, from Davie Boulevard all the way to State Road 84 and west back to I-95. So that's a big area that we cover because it is that important, and we've done a good job in River Oaks, even though we have a lot of them, because they know that we're watching and they know that we know, and we're gonna report them every single time.
Just as an FYI, we've done pretty good on them in Lauderdale House too. If you look at the complaints on the city website, the first page is like this, and they're all Lauderdale Isles. So our neighbors call in on them, and you know, it's going to continue. But thank you. You had some great ideas. We had some great ideas from all of you. This one's going to be a 30-second. This is going to be easy. Okay.
True false?
Yes. This is about the community center. Everybody knows about the community center that we wanted to build. And here we go. After the failure of the city to buy the Lauderdale Isles Yacht Club property, the association requested that the city, through Parks and Recreation, build a community center in Lauderdale Isles Landing with the $2.1 million left in District 4 Parks Bond funds. It was approved by the city. The project is now in the hands of the design firm, and you saw the newsletter. Earl keeps us abreast of the steps that are happening through design and everything with those red check marks on the very front page. The design firm out of the $2.1 million makes $300,000 of that money just to do the design work. They want to do a bathymetric survey, and they don't have anything to do with the canal, but anyway, they want to do that. So, at any rate, it's very possible that we're going to have a shortfall in that project on money. And the question for our candidates is, and when you're elected, if more funds are needed for that center, how will you arrange to cover that shortfall? And we start with Warren.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. When we failed to get that yacht club, and we tried, Earl, we tried so hard. Earl and Jeff came up, we need that community center. We didn't have the funds. That money came from the rest of the district. I actually went to the commission, I advocated in your behalf, and we took the extra $2.1 million for land acquisition, and we put it towards that. I will absolutely get this job done. I am committed. I have lobbied the other commissioners. We got it off the ground. We got the design work going along. We got the plans approved. We worked with Parks. We will get that done. I am the one who brought you that. This was not going to be here, and I will get that thing done. No doubt. I have supported my other 4 commissioners already. I've already proven that.
I think it's very sad that what happened to the yacht club. When this community was built in 1953 by the Gill Company, that yacht club was the center point of the community. That's where this organization used to meet. It was a travesty that $2.25 million could not have been found. That would have never happened on my watch. I would have fought tooth and nail. I would have been accountable. I would have not let that happen. The money will be found. How that money will be found is in the budget. We will have an annual budgeting process that's based on the community needs, looking to you all to provide a list of requirements for projects that needed to get funded to preserve and enhance your quality of life. And that will be the money that gets greenlighted and has to get over the line each and every annual budget, so we're accountable to you.
I tell you, it's a shame that Lauderdale Isles does not have one of the best civic associations, well organized, well run in the entire city of Fort Lauderdale. Because trust me, I go to a lot of these meetings. I'm a member of a lot of different other civic associations. You guys are kind of like a pattern of what I'm doing, trying to do in River Oaks. We have our waterway cleanup. We do different things that we see you guys doing. To not have a place to meet that's actually in your neighborhood is a crime. Again, a lot of this boils down to the money is going to the wrong places. I'm a resident. I'm boots on the ground in the neighborhood. It's got to be the neighborhoods, the residents' needs first.
City has a $1.2 billion budget. We need to stop expanding city staff. Outside of public safety, I am opposed to expanding city staff so that we can invest in projects just as you heard. We're going to finish the community center, and it is my intention to find the dollars to get the yacht club to make that amazing part of our community. We can do it. It takes work and collaboration. That needs to get done. It's unfinished business here in Lauderdale Isles.
This is gonna be our last question, because I see that, I see a yawn back there. Anyway, this is one of the biggies. They handled this the other night as well. The title of it is Bridge or Tunnel for the FBC, but we want them to look at it a little bit differently. We're a boating community here, okay? That's why we live here. You have your boat in your driveway, you have your boat at your dock. That's what we do. On the weekends, we're out there. We are recreational boaters. When you hear all the discussion about the FBC Railroad Bridge and the tunnel or bridge, what we hear about all the time is the marine industry. And yes, the marine industry is important, and the tugboats are important. And you know, the Lauderdale Marine Center, they make $1 bazillion there a day working on the boats. But what we're concerned about is, as recreational boaters, we're affected by the FEC Railroad Bridge just as the commercial vessels and businesses are on the river. So do you think a bridge or a tunnel is the best solution, and how will your decision affect our neighborhood?
Just a 1 minute answer.
Can we have a minute and a half, please?
We'll make, is a minute okay?
A minute and a half.
Okay. We'll make it a minute. Go ahead. Kevin, you're up. Who's up next?
Okay.
Kevin.
So this fundamentally gets to a very important issue, which is we do not have a master transportation plan for Fort Lauderdale, and we need one desperately. We're adding 20,000 more residents alone in the next 2 years, and the city is in gridlock. This one issue of the bridge versus tunnel needs to be thought of in terms of all of the public investment that needs to be made against all of our roadways so that our city is not going to become even more congested than it is now. So at the end of the day, what my decision is to prioritize all of the transportation needs for the entire city and work with the county so that we can unlock all of the transportation infrastructure across the city. That includes fixing all issues with east-west traffic on Oakland Park, on Davie Boulevard, on Sunrise and more. So currently, if you're looking at the cost of a bridge versus a tunnel, you have to think about how much additional money would be available to solve all of the other transportation problems in our city. And we also have to remember that the money is actually not coming from the city of Fort Lauderdale. The money is coming from the county, and we need to work with the county to make certain that, again, we fix all of our transportation infrastructure, because currently we do not have a plan.
All right, this is a very easy one for me. Bridge or tunnel, I say neither. I say we don't need 100 more empty commuter trains going on here. We don't need 12 more freight trains. I mean, that is just overkill in my opinion. In our neighborhood, 17th Street, the trains stop. State Road 84, they're just stopped for 20 minutes. Now when the traffic just backs up tremendously. Now finally when the train moves and the alarms go up, here comes just train after train. This gridlock, east-west, is gonna be monumental. I mean, and then I've heard people say, well, we'll go with tunnels underneath everything. How many decades is that gonna take to build tunnels underneath State Road 84, southwest 17th Street, Davie Boulevard? That is not the answer. The answer is, hey, we don't need 100 more empty commuter trains every day with those arms going up and down. The mayor always says the railroad track splits the city from one side to the other. Well, let me tell you, get 100 more trains in there with those arms never rising, nobody will be able to go east and west.
When I was a commissioner prior, I voted for the tunnel. The tunnel is the answer. Having a bridge across the river is going to increase dramatically the congestion for marine traffic due to the pylons and the narrowing and creating more of a choke point than a tunnel ever would. Furthermore, the tunnel offers a solution that lessens noise impacts and so forth across the city. I'm the only candidate up here that continues to push for a tunnel. Our current commissioner the other day told the Sun Sentinel, a bridge or a tunnel, whatever the county wants. Well, I got news for you. We are not going to be dictated by the county. We're the city of Fort Lauderdale, and we are going to demand and push for our solution. As a city, we are going to have to pay in part for the tunnel, and we are not going to be bullied or pushed around by the county. I look forward to continuing to support the tunnel and move that project forward.
Ready?
Kevin happens to be right. I'm going to agree with you. We're not going to own it. We're not going to operate it. We're not going to fund it. The county is. I did push to say that our tunnel is my preferred alternative, but I meet on a regular basis with marine industry president and their whole association. Their take is whatever they can do to get this done. If you say a tunnel or nothing and they do nothing is not a solution. We have 24 freight trains that are going to go on the street level, no matter what we do. We're up to 60 now, 60 with Brightline. 105 will come when we have commuter rail. Nothing is not an option. If we, I do prefer a tunnel. Tunnel is my preferred option. It's the county's call on that. If the marine industry says if the county's insisting on a bridge, we have to do something. I will back the county on whatever they say. And not only that, we are talking about undercuts. There were a series of undercuts. Bridge and tunnel will not help 84, will not help Davie, 17th Street. On the MPO, we were talking about cars going underneath on every one of those. There is state funding for that, and that's something that we are pushing.
So we have the bridge or tunnel issue solved now. We're going to go to closing statements. I just want to share with you what some of the other questions we would get to, just with the titles of them are, just so that our candidates know some of the other things that we're concerned about. One of them is just the river itself. The river is our playground, and it should be clean, it should be convenient and fun for us as recreational voters. We're going to talk about that. Another issue about waterway we're going to talk about is there's a proposal by the city to have a new office, and it's the chief waterway officer for the city of Fort Lauderdale. To some people that makes a lot of sense. To some people it's just another bureaucrat knocking down a nice six-figure salary. All the things that that are done for the river and for the waters already done by various departments. We're not going to get to that. And lastly, you may remember this from 2015, one of our favorite topics, dredging. Remember when the canals were dredged in 2015? The city says the canal dredging is a 10-year cycle. So we're pushing year number 10 next year, and there's no money in the city budget anywhere for dredging. That's something these guys need to think about. With that in mind, we're going to ask them to do 60-second closing statements, and they'll wrap it up for us, and don't go anywhere because we have a Flanagan's card to give away. So let's start with the closing statements, and I believe the first guy is, who's got the list now? Ted.
Okay. My opinion is enough. We've seen what these city commissioners want to do to our city. Their vision is not my vision. We need to put the residents first, the neighborhoods first. They're supposed to be our servants, not our masters. Somehow that got flipped, and now we are just we don't even count. One of the reasons why I started running was because I would go to these commission meetings, and I would go to these planning and zoning meetings, and I would speak, and it was like it didn't matter what any of the residents were saying up there. Some of the commissioners didn't even look up. They just stayed there and voted the way we wanted to. We can't have that. Enough is enough. We've seen what the professional politicians want to do. Now it's time to get a resident in there that was born in Fort Lauderdale, that's lived in Fort Lauderdale, and has the city of Fort Lauderdale in his heart, number one. That would be me, Ted Inserra.
Thank you, Ted. I've knocked on 8,400 doors in the city of Fort Lauderdale during this campaign. We have a team of volunteers helping me. As a commissioner, residents have my cell phone number, and my office and myself will respond within 24 hours because I care about this community. I'm dedicated to it. I have the time to do it, and we have a lot more to do together. We've had amazing success with airport noise, amazing success with vacation rentals, amazing success with code, getting a code boat. We've got more to do about our waterways. In 2021, as a commissioner, I helped lead the effort to get Miami water keepers to start testing our waterways for the first time ever in the city of Fort Lauderdale. 10 sites, we need to double and triple that. We need to get source pointing to identify where pollution comes from. We need to up the ability to code enforce when we find that. I'm Ben Sorensen. I thank you for being here and hearing us all Look forward to your support. Thank you.
Ready? There are 5 candidates in this race. I'm the only one to have received every major endorsement. Police, firefighters, the city workers, the doctors, the teachers. Why? Because I've lived in this district over 30 years and they know me. As a commissioner, I've increased police and fire resources. I've enhanced and preserved our parks. I've strengthened control over vacation rentals, and I doubled down on our stormwater and infrastructure for flooding. In summary, this is our seat. We cannot give it away to an outsider, someone who keeps moving in and out to this district, looking for a public office that he could run for. I've lived in here and been a part of this community for 20 years, serving this community and preserving our quality of life. Let's keep this a neighborhood seat on our voice in the community. I'm Dr. Warren Sturman from running for re-election. If you remember only one thing, remember alphabetically, I will be the last name on your ballot. Say that again.
Up here, there's only one person that's managed $1 billion budget. There's only one person who's looked at $1 billion budget and found everywhere there was waste, everywhere there was fraud, to free up capital to invest. There's only one person amongst here that builds 3-year plans, 5-year plans, and 10-year plans to build infrastructure and to maintain and extend that infrastructure to build some of the most successful software companies on the planet. I want to bring that business mindset here to Fort Lauderdale. I want to look at the budget. I want to find all the inefficiencies. I want to eliminate the waste and fraud. I want to free up capital so we can actually build a neighborhood by neighborhood plan to fix your stormwater, to fix Riverland Road, to fix and clean up all your waterways, and to make certain that on an annual basis, all of your requirements are literally listed and mapped to a line item in the budget that you all approve. I will knock on your door. I will hear your voice. I have a very odd episodic memory, which means when I knock on your door and I see your face and I hear your voice, I literally remember each and every requirement, each and every conversation, and I cannot forget it until I hold myself accountable for delivering the results.
Nice.
Let's give them a big round of applause. We're going to be available in the back for a couple minutes if you want to shake their hands or